This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hello and welcome to HealthLink, a program connecting home, community, and healthcare. My name is Carol Merton, and today I am absolutely delighted to be able to welcome a variety, in fact, a party of guests to this program. They are going to be providing an update on the projects that arose from the Youth Climate Action Conference in March 2023. And I'm going to introduce the guests. Most you can see, there might be one off screen and one remotely who has to work today. So I just wanted to, first of all, thank you all very much. I'll go through the names. If I've missed anybody, please let me know. So Rebecca, is it Danard or Danard?
Danard.
Rebecca is the Manager of Climate Change Initiatives for Grey County, and you can correct me again if I have that title incorrect.
Okay.
Sarah McPhee, who is off camera, but definitely listening in, is a teacher at Keppel Sarawak School. We have students who are here. Julia Barfoot, and this is in no particular order, just the way it was sent to me by the email. Clara Shaw, Leighton Locke, Bryson Cairn, Max McPhee, Sadie Miller, Addison Mock, Ella Todd, Grace Sutherland, Chelsea Adams. Have I missed anybody in the group? No. We also have Hilary Coburn, who's not able to be present today. Hilary spearheaded the YCAC 2023, and she has asked me to share that the Climate Action Team Owen Sound Group are looking for support for creating CYAC 2024 and beyond. The Sustainability Project and the Blue Water District School Board are collaborating, and all are open to ideas for funding and a leadership team for this to happen. So anyone who's listening, anyone who's here, anyone who wants to participate, please consider this so that we can move forward. So thank you all again. And I'm just going to go right into the questions because I want to be sure we cover all the projects in this time frame that we have. So first of all, tell me a little bit about CYAC in March, and I think Ella is going to be discussing this. What does CYAC stand for?
My name is Ella Todd, and I'm part of the Keppel Sarawak Eco Team, and we are a group of 10 students who attended the Youth Climate Action Conference at the Harmony Center in March. During the conference, we listened to various environmental activists who introduced their passions to us. After lunch, we met with our mentors, Barry Randall and your welcome Ostertag, who helped us decide what our focus was in the community. We will now tell you about our projects.
Great. That leads me to project number one. I better stay on cue, hadn't I? All right. Project number one is about compost, and I believe Julia is going to start with this.
My name is Julia. This is Clara, Leighton, Max, and Bryson. We are the Keppel Sarawak Eco Team, and we're working on the composting project.
So, tell me about the project.
We chose this project because a lot of kids would bring compostable items in their lunches, but it would all go in the garbage. Luckily, the composters are coming soon, so we can get started as soon as possible.
All right. So, Clara, what are you planning to do after the project is up and running?
What we're planning to do once the project is up and running is to hopefully hold lunch meetings with the grade 3s and 4s to teach them how to take over the composting program. Because next year will sadly be our last year at Keppel, and if we leave, the whole thing will stop.
So you're planning for the future to be able to keep the project up and running. Excellent. So, Leighton, how are you planning to collect the compost?
Well, every single day, since we don't want to get since we don't want the school to like be stinky from the compost, we will collect it at the end of the day or after each nutrition break, and it will all be done by the eco team.
Did I hear you don't want a stinky school? Good plan. I wouldn't want that either. Bryson, how I understand that you presented to a council meeting. How did that go?
Our council meeting went really well. We got the composters that we wanted. We got two earth machine composters, 2 countertop composters, and 1 green con.
And can I ask you about that presentation? Were you nervous doing it?
Yeah, it was like different than what we've done before, so it was, yeah.
And whereabouts was that presentation? What council did you actually present to?
The Great Roots, Georgian Blocks Council.
Did they ask questions like me?
Not too much.
So you were pleased with how it went?
Yeah.
Max, how is composting going to help the environment?
It helps because less food waste goes into garbage, and then we can reduce the amount of greenhouse gases in the air. And also it reduces the need for traditional fertilizer, because we can use the nutritious dirt from the compost.
So it recycles, right?
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Julia, what are the students going to get out of the composting program?
Well, we were hoping that they might want to start composting at home or in their new school.
So you'll take the ideas with you wherever you go next. So how will you do that at the new school? How would you introduce it? Would you do it the same way that you did it at your school?
Maybe. We'll have to get some teachers involved first, because we can't do it all on our own. And then we'd have to go through a lot to just get the composters. Like, we had to go to the council meeting, and a long wait, very long.
Yes, but good things do sometimes take time, right? So, excellent. Can we go on to the next project? And that is Safe Climate, Safe Kids. Sadie, can you present this project to our audience?
I'm Sadie, and this is Addison and Ella. We are part of the Safe Climate, Safe Kids Sidewalk Project. We chose this project because our drop-off and pickup system isn't very eco-friendly. Cars are waiting in line, waiting for their kids with their exhaust pipes running, and it's polluting the air. And most parents won't allow their kids to walk to school instead of drive because of how we don't have many sidewalks around our school. We are hoping to get more parents to feel more comfortable about letting their kids walk to school by putting in sidewalks instead of them having to walk on the roads. We are also hoping parents will start stopping their cars from their exhaust pipes running while waiting in line to pick up their kid until our new sidewalks are put in.
So that's you're describing why you chose the project, because it sounds like there were many reasons. And I noticed that as the first question. Is there anything that you wanted to add to that question before I go on to Addison?
We've done traffic studies and contacted Georgian Bluffs to see if there's any other, see how they can help. And we've also figured out what design we'd like to use and where we'd like to put our sidewalks.
So you put a lot of effort into this. So Addison, what type of sidewalks do you plan to use? And I've had a sneak peek and I am fascinated with that.
So we want to use Eco Raster. It's eco-friendly compared to concrete, and it's really cheap and easy to assemble. And it's made of 100% recycled plastic.
Now, do you mind spelling that if you don't mind? Because it's a different name. I've never actually, until you presented the information and I got to look at it, it was brand new to me. So just because we're on Zoom and sometimes, our audience may not capture it all, could you spell it, please?
CORASTER.
Thank you. Thank you. So Ella, what did the final traffic study look like?
We ended up with about 11 cars coming down 8th Street, which we're sure these people would walk if it was safe enough. We also had a total of 16 walkers just on that road, which is a lot of kids walking on the road. We heard from parents and they said that they would use these sidewalks if they were built.
So you've done a numbers study and found, were you surprised by the numbers? Did you expect it to be that high?
A little bit, like the amount of kids walking without supervision is a little bit high, so.
Yeah. And what are the ages of the walkers? Do you recall, or do you know if anyone sort of took note of that?
It would probably be like 3 to 6, I'm guessing. Grade 3 to 6.
Yeah. So yeah, that unsupervised. So that certainly is interesting as well. Thank you. Let's move on to project number 3, Keppel Cleanup. And it's Keppel with a K and Cleanup with a K, which is great. Grace.
Hi, I'm Grace, and this is Chelsea, and we are part of the Keppel Cleanup Group. We chose this because we want a clean Keppel and a clean earth. We already did the first Keppel cleanup, and it went really well. We want our earth to be clean because when it's not, and when just simple places like Keppel are dirty, it can end up being windy, and all the trash can go into the water. And when it does, it can create pollution, which is how the Great Pacific Garbage Patch happened.
So how did the cleanup go?
The first cleanup went really well. Even though not very many people came, the only people that came were Addison, Ella, and their moms. My sister and I and our principal were the only ones that came. We did get 4 bags of garbage in just 2 hours by going down Gray Road, 1 hill, and back up.
Wow, that is a lot. Before I go on to Chelsea, what was in the garbage bags? What did you actually find?
We found a lot of cigarettes and cigarette packs, some cans, lots of cans, and like old tin cups, like Tim Hortons cups, just a bunch of like random garbage, and a couple of like danger signs, like for overhead wires. So, yeah.
Were you surprised at what you picked up?
A little bit, yeah. I wasn't expecting we would find as much cigarette packs, but as we did, and it's been cans.
Yeah. Chelsea, what made your group choose this idea?
We chose the Keppel cleanup because the earth is cleaning, and this is a start. And we noticed that Keppel Rock Road, Gray Road 1, and Eskil Road were extremely dirty. And if we grow as an organization, then we can like get more materials, maybe book flights to the Central Pacific Ocean, so we can start to clean up the Central Pacific garbage patch.
Excellent. So, with that cleanup, I have to think it achieved a variety of things. First of all, picking up a variety of trash, some surprising, but also just being out and about and seeing the environment and seeing what's being discarded would be quite a learning as well. I've participated in pickup events, not in your area, but in other areas. And honestly, the things that I found shocked me. I mean, I didn't know that there were so many just single flip-flops. People never bothered, if they just float in, or just different things that I went, how did that ever end up where it is? So it's almost like an adventure finding out what people discard, although it's not great for our environment. So That's great. Now, we've presented the projects, and I'm just wondering at this point, I guess we can give the adults a turn now. So, Rebecca, you're new to the role, I understand. And what are your thoughts, and how can you, in your role in Great County, align with the students and their projects?
Oh, it's just so exciting to see all the things that these students are doing. In Great County, we have a very ambitious Going Green and Graying, which is our climate action plan. And there are a number of community actions that are in that plan, and they're called community actions for a reason, because we really need the whole community to work together to make these things happen. We can do stuff. There's lots of things the county can do, but we can't do everything. And having these students participate in these projects is really, really cool. So I can just hear about what you guys are doing and see how it aligns with our goals. So one of them is about reducing waste. So the compost project, about making sure that things don't go into landfills if they don't have to. That's helping us as the whole county reduce our waste. And it's also, since you're making compost, that's helping our agriculture project. I was out at a farm doing a visit yesterday, and the compost part is the heart of the farm. It makes everything else grow, and it really makes all of the food we eat possible. If we can capture that organic waste, which we're now putting in a garbage and nobody can use it, and now we're putting it somewhere where it can be used. So that's so cool. And then the complete streets, using the streets and getting sidewalks, getting people out of their cars and active transportation, and you're biking or walking or running or skipping or whatever you're going to do to get to school. That is so awesome. If we can reduce the amount of cars we're using, reduce that congestion, that's going to help us with achieving our transportation goals. And then the folks doing the garbage pickup, looking at that whole picture, looking at the big global influence that garbage has. You think like one little garbage, you just, I'm just going to chuck it away, it's not going to make a difference. But that just accumulates. Everybody does it. But if everybody picks up their garbage and other people, do these bigger projects, it'll help our natural environment, and biodiversity, and the animals that live there will certainly appreciate having a cleaner place to live, and they will be more successful. So that's really super cool. But I think the best part of what we're doing is, thanks to you, Carol, is we all get to tell the story of what we're doing. Because these are great projects and they have this impact locally, but you guys are so inspiring. You can inspire other kids, and you've already got a plan to take it to your next school, pass it along to the grade 4, so that when you guys go somewhere else, you can do this other places, and you can inspire other people to do these great things, and to have a voice and get everybody involved. So exciting to be part of this.
And for sure, you use the word inspire, and I want to tell you that you inspire me and adults to want to do more. You may not understand the power that you have and the importance that you have in our future and the future of the earth, but I'm here to say you are so important. So thank you, from somebody who's a little gray around the edges, for what you're doing. I appreciate it. Now, a couple of things. I want to ask about worms, which just sounds awful, but I read that you might have a plan with compost to think about worms. Tell me a bit about that, because I know there's a special word for that, but how do you use worms, and what would that mean for a part of a composting project?
We would use worms because they help break down the compost a lot faster, because they are eating some of the things that are inside the compost that will help make it have more nutrients and to break it down. So it's called worm compost.
And I think, is there a fancy name as well, vermiculture or something? I'm just not sure, but there is worm. I like the idea of worm composting, because that just says it all for sure. well, you've heard the expression probably pay it forward, where you do something for the future by helping somebody. What you're doing is paying it forward for the future by all of your initiatives and projects. And so there's many, many different ways. I also want to mention you mentioned how important it is to have the teachers involved, because what you're trying to do is big. It's a lot of work. And in the middle of doing all the other stuff you have to do at school, but having the support of school boards and councils and teachers, all of us together can make a difference for sure. Anything else you'd like to share about your projects? Maybe surprises, things you hadn't even thought about when you started that you might like to share now that we've done the question and answer period and made sure you presented anything you didn't expect in this whole project.
I didn't expect some of the things we found, because we did find a few random things. We found a couple of diapers that were used.
Wow. Yeah. So that was a surprise. Yeah. Any other surprises? Anything new?
Also, I wasn't expecting for them to pick up so much garbage when they did the cleanup.
Yeah. Yeah. So who pays for your garbage bags? Do you have to pay for your garbage bags?
We got somebody from the Georgia West County Council came to our school and gave us 5 garbage bag tags, and we're hoping that we can use.
Yeah. Because that's part of projects, right? Sometimes there are small costs attached or large costs attached. And when you think of a project, it is going to cost. So for the sidewalks, what do you think about how you might be able to get those sidewalks in place? I mean, what would be the next steps? Because those sidewalks are fascinating. Who could help you with that? Not to put you on the spot, maybe you haven't gotten there yet.
So we have talked with our principal, and we've contacted the Eco Raptor, and we're going to try to publish like an article in the news to like raise awareness for it, and for the city council, and to get things from them.
Yes. And increasing awareness is important. Rebecca.
Yeah, so we actually work as the county, we work with all of our member municipalities. And we have a community of practice where we get together and we talk about different projects that we could do in the communities. So if you have ideas for that, I can maybe ask them at that meeting to see if they've got any plans for this area. What are their plans for sidewalks? Because it's a big process to change the sidewalk plans, and there's lots of different things they have to think about. But if we put that little seed in people's brains, we'll just see what they're thinking, because that's a good route to go. Because it's really the municipalities decide where to put the sidewalks and when to put them, and it all has to go through a big complicated budget and lots of steps. But I really appreciate your sort of level of ambition to make a big change for your neighborhood.
Make sure you get Rebecca's card, okay?
Yeah.
They're going to have your number, Rebecca. That's
I know. I hope I haven't promised more than I can deliver here.
Well, there's no harm in asking, and these
That's right.
are all about making the request. You've already been successful because you're increasing awareness, and you're learning at the same time. That's hugely successful. And then making the asks, because that's what's really, really, really important. So what I want to do today is extend the invitation to come back again to present more about your projects or other ideas you might have for projects. It is really, really important that we keep this definitely spurred on, and keep this in the front burner. And whether you're at your school or a different school, or if there's other messengers, and Rebecca, I'm going to be looking to you now, because to be able to share this message, it's really, really important that this continues on, because this is something you've planted that you're going to hopefully see grow as you grow in your education and in life as well. So certainly, I want to encourage you to come back, because we definitely do want to say this. We've just got about 3 minutes left in the program. I want to ask you about your experience attending the conference. Anything that came to your mind, like, I know I popped in for a little while and stayed longer because it was so fascinating. What were your thoughts about it? Like, if you had another one next year, do you think kids would like to come? Young adults, young seniors. Yeah. What would you say to anyone if you were to encourage them to attend? How would you describe it?
I would say that it's a very fun thing to go to meet a bunch of amazing environmental activists, and I was really fascinated in what they had to tell us.
And there were others there who were activists who started, young activists who've grown up doing that. They shared their stories as well. And I found that fascinating, that being an activist is a lifelong event. It doesn't just begin with one project, but it's an attitude on how you think about your climate, right? So if it was held next year, and if you were allowed to go, am I right in saying you might be interested in going back?
I want to go too.
Okay. All right. We'll have to make sure that you get that invite. I think you'd be top of the list for sure. Excellent. So how many of you are going on to a different school? Yeah. And some of you are staying and some of you are going on. So some will be sending the message along, and others will be staying to work on your projects even more. I also want to commend your parents, because parents that would go and pick up garbage or talk to you about doing presentations, I mean, that's pretty impressive. And I think they're part of this whole package of support. So certainly want to thank the parents. I can't believe our time together is up already. And I want to thank every single one of you. And for those in the background, and those who are at work, and those who are watching, I want to thank you all for joining me today. And thank you to our viewing audience for visiting us here on HealthLink to learn more about programs, resources, and services available to you and to your family. Thank you, and take care.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Lovely viewers, it's your host of On the Couch, Antoine El Hashim, reminding you to tune in for every episode of Season 9 of the longest running and most loved local queer talk show on Rogers TV. Check it out.
I'm Wendell Clark with a word about winning. We all know it takes a team effort in any sport and with any challenge. You can be a part of the winning team that shuts out impaired driving.